we've got Paul Hocker on the line. Hello, Paul.
Morning to you, Harriet. How are you?
Yes, I'm great, thank you. I'm keen to hear more about London Play.
Well, we're a charity, been around for about 15 years, that is making, creating better childhoods in London, because there needs to be a charity that sort of represents children's need to play and all the benefits that come from play. So we do all sorts of stuff. We go around building tree houses, we get children playing out in the streets. We've just done a healthy eating project where kids came out with recipes for healthy eating. So we do all kinds of things. So
I didn't realise that you were a charity. So, I mean, gosh, I hope that you get enough funds. Do you get any...
That's a sore point there, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're always constantly looking for new funding, and of course we're in an age of austerity. Finding funding to keep a really worthwhile charity like ours going is tough, and we're having to sort of really think outside the box to bring the money in. But so far so good. We're here. We're still alive.
Good for you.
We just launched a new website, Harriet, www.londonplay.org.uk, and parents, families, anybody can go to that website and get lots of really great ideas on free ways for kids to play in London. So that's worth looking at.
So as opposed to what we were talking about before, this isn't about getting into wild spaces and getting back to nature. This is just utilising London's playgrounds and making sure that London spaces are have enough facilities for children. Is that what it is?
It's a bit more. The work that I'm doing at the moment, which is funded by the Department of Health, is a bit more kind of revolutionary, perhaps even controversial. I'm not sure. Depends which side of the street you stand on, really. We're trying to. We're not trying. We are getting streets to be closed for children to play out on. So we're working in roughly about 14 boroughs now, getting children playing out.
And what has been the reaction of people living on the streets?
Good. I think people recognise that streets are community spaces, and that when children play out, they bring the whole community out. So it's good for sort of community cohesion and building up trust between adults that might not normally talk to each other.
I mean, and with my previous guest, David Bond, we talked about how when there is an occasion like the Diamond Jubilee, that people do enjoy the fact that there was a street party. But are you finding that there is some bad reaction from people when they realise that this could be more of a regular thing?
Not really. I think people can see the benefit of it. And, we're not in an age where children are seen and not heard anymore. That's kind of not where we are as a nation. And it's important that children do play out and are seen to play out and are part of the community. So we do get the odd bit of resistance where people think they're going to get a big leather football through their window, but that's never happened. Children don't tend to play like that these days on the street. So it's really easy to sort of reassure people that are concerned that they're about children playing out. I mean, it only was 40 years ago when that was a regular occurrence on the street. You saw children playing out.
I mean, there were less cars then, though.
There were less cars, and we've very quickly come to a position, a mindset rather, where we give cars priority on residential streets. And I'm a driver myself, so I do appreciate being able to drive down the street. But there's no harm in sharing the street for a few hours every week. Just closing it off to through traffic so children can play out. I think that's a fair bargain, really. Do
you think we've all got a bit lazy and we expect to park our car right outside our flat or our house?
Yeah. We can see that we're becoming a bit of an obese nation, so that's not a bad idea, parking your car a bit further away for a longer walk. Children will just adapt to the space they've got, really.
So it's called London Play, and it's... Well, so you're called London Play, but this is called the Play Street Scheme, and residents can apply to their council, can't they, to get a temporary Play Street order?
Yeah, you're very well informed, Harriet. That's exactly what they can do. And London Play can help residents do that, because it is a bit daunting getting in touch with your local authority, and we can help them, one, with the local authority, and two, to get the rest of their neighbours on side, and we've been really successful at doing that. Right now in Walthamstow, in Haringey, in Hackney, children are playing out as we speak.
Really?
Yeah, so it's happening as we speak, yeah.
So how it works is that the street is shut down for a couple of hours, and then you tell all the neighbours this is what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's a bit more than that, actually. You don't just tell the neighbours get involved as well, because you need stewards at the end of the street just to tell traffic that this road's closed for a couple of hours. So it's a really good way of getting neighbours together as well. So it takes a whole street to raise a child these days.
Do you remember in your childhood playing out in the streets in London? Is that where you grew up?
Yeah, I grew up in Southgate, and it was a bit sleepy back then. But yeah, I did play out on the streets. My mates would knock for me, we'd get our bikes out and we'd just go roaming. And, the old cliche, we wouldn't come back till we were hungry. And that's how it was. And I think, as a nation, our biggest asset is not like gold reserves or anything like that. It's our children. And we need to give children space to play, to build resilience, to exercise their imagination and develop themselves as individuals.
And what, in your experience, what kind of things have you found that kids are doing on the streets when they're playing?
Yeah, well, I made reference to the old leather football before. They don't do that. They tend to want to do those sort of games at the park. What they do in the street is they get their scooters out, they get their roller skates or whatever they're called these days, and they chat and they do chalk drawing. They invent games, pick up games from older people on the street, teach them those games. So they just occupy themselves.
It sounds great. So, Paul, if people want to, get help in applying for the local council, if they want to find out more, presumably there's a website people can go to.
There's a website. You know what I'm going to do, Harriet, just because it's London and your radio station is so great, your listeners are so lovely. I'm going to give my email address, so get your pens ready, folks. This is the email you need to get your Play Street up and running. It's paul@londonplay.org.uk. Email me and we're in business.
Okay, paul@londonplay.org.uk.
You got it.
Great to talk to you, Paul.
No worries.
Good luck with it.
Cheers.